Assalamu alaikum guys, so we're going to be taking a look at a small shorts clip by Smile to Jannah, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it because I think this is a very powerful point, and he articulates this in a very simple and profound way, and it's just happened, to be the case that he comes across, Allah made it so he comes across this guy, who really, allows us to appreciate, the if I can say stupidity of maintaining that seeing is believing. But I'm going to play the clip so we can take a look at this now, inshallah.
Thing I can't see, I don't believe. Is that what you said?
Yes. Anything I see it, I believe. Not seeing, no belief.
Okay. Have you seen your brain?
I don't know. No. Where is the brain?
So you don't have brain?
No. It's not there.
So guys, look, it's a very funny clip, right? But I think there's a very profound point here that we can sort of spend a bit of time breaking down and understanding. Fundamentally, for most atheists today, the majority of them that claim to be atheists, we're not talking about the horsemen or the guys that have been online for years and have found ways of articulating the points in a very sophisticated way. We're talking about the average Joe. We're talking about the average atheist. Now, this is one of those points that they would make and they would believe in, that seeing is believing. And if you to extrapolate this a bit, what they're essentially saying is, whatever I can pick up with my senses, whatever I can observe, that is real. And anything that I cannot directly observe, it is not real. Now, we can see what happens when you hold such a position. There are many things that we don't see. There are many things that we do not directly observe, yet they exist. I mean, the simple point about the brain here, it's a profound one. Most of us, majority of us, never see our own brains. But yet we are aware of the fact that they exist. And we believe they exist, not based on direct evidence, but we believe they exist based on sound reasoning, basic reasoning, And therefore, this allows us to appreciate that there are many different modes or ways to arrive at knowledge. There are many routes to knowledge. Science is one route to knowledge, no doubt. However, it is limited. And this is not me saying this in any way to sort of demean science, but if anything, it allows us to appreciate the beauty of science. Science is a method that we use to study the physical world, things that are physical, things that we can observe with our senses. And therefore, we can reason upon them afterwards. And reasoning is still involved at one level in science before one comes up with their own theories, etc. So, seeing isn't believing, right? You cannot see many things. There are many things that you cannot stick into a test tube and study them. Morals, for example, you can't stick into a test tube and study them. People need to broaden their perspective. Even atheists need to do this. They need to recognize that even within this discipline of science, there are other tools involved, such as reasoning. This is what Bertrand Russell said, for example, that scientists, essentially what they do, and I'm paraphrasing, that they collect data, and then they sit down with the data, and then they reason upon the data. They use their akal, their intellect, they reason upon what's there in front of them, and then they try to connect the dots. That's what they do. That's how you come up with theories. If you didn't reason, you just had observations and data, you wouldn't be able to, that wouldn't be science. That's just observations. This notion of seeing is believing is quite ridiculous. And another thing that this point that we should appreciate is that, look, don't undermine yourself as a human being. God has created you as a being with very unique and special qualities. He's given you an intellect. You can reason. Right? You can use logic. You can try to understand the world around you. That's what humans have done throughout history. So to undermine that and to say that all your observations are the things that matter, well, that's lowering yourself down to the level of animals. I mean, I'll give you an analogy, a sort of scenario. Imagine you're in a room and you're sitting there and you have a monkey on one side of you and you have a cat on the other side of you. And you're sitting there for whatever reason, and there is an announcement that's made on the speakerphone, and it says that there is a fire in the building, please evacuate the building. Now, what are you going to do as an intelligent, rational human being? You're going to listen to what's being said, so that audible information is coming into your ears and going into your brain, and then you're going to process it. You're going to reason upon it. Okay, an announcement's made. What are the implications of this announcement? If it is true, that means I'm dead. And I don't know what the chances of it being true are. I know that this is coming from an authoritative figure because it's being delivered over the speaker system. So not everyone's going to have access to the speaker system. So therefore, the most rational thing to do is leave the building. That's you. That's us human beings. That's what the sane human being that hasn't got earplugs in is going to do. What is the cat and the monkey going to do? Are they going to do the same thing? No. They're going to sit there. They're going to keep doing what they're doing until and unless the smoke starts coming through the door, or they start to feel the heat of the fire, or there's a smell. And then the monkey and the cat's going to react. So remember, when you say seeing is believing, in a way, what you're doing is you're limiting yourself as a human being. You have far more profound faculties that you can use and should use, and we do use even within science. So don't undermine yourself as a human being. Recognize that you're a creation, a being that is far more sophisticated than other creatures. And, you know, at least acknowledge yourself from this perspective, right? And that means opening your mind, realizing that there are other routes to knowledge that we should use, like I said, and we can use. And don't undermine yourself just for the sake of maintaining your atheism by positing or suggesting such ridiculous things like seeing is believing. We don't need to do this. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum.